guys? Welcome to another episode of the Anime Bros. Episode 19. We're going to be talking about Psycho-Pass. I think this is going to be our best episode yet because I'm actually a huge fan of this anime. I'm pretty excited to talk about it. There's 3 seasons so far and a movie that we're going to be talking about. And Chris, what'd you think of the show?
Actually, rewatching again, I would have to admit, I think I liked it more rewatching it now that I saw like certain themes in season one. And I definitely thought they did a good job of character development. Like Kogame, it's hard to argue like him not being like a top 2, top 3 character.
Oh, for sure. I definitely think the first season of Psycho-Pass is the best just because all the characters are the best, in my opinion. I think Makishima is a great villain.
He had it going on for him.
Yeah, and then just him not being in the other seasons, it's kind of, I think season one's got to be the best for that reason.
Hey, but like we all knew what he was trying to do. We couldn't let that slide. We just can't. He was doing some dangerous things throughout the show.
When those guys have the helmets on, and he just walks into that like drugstore, and he killed that guy with the scissors.
Yeah, that was
He put the scissors like through his throat.
Yeah, and then he had the other time when he got attacked by the 3 dudes because he tried to jump him, and then he put the baseball bat through his skull or through his
Oh,
mouth.
I was just talking about the helmet, dude. You're talking about Makishima.
Oh yeah, I was talking about Makishima in that situation. You're talking about the helmet dude in what situation?
Like remember all those people with the helmets were going around, like
Oh
and they couldn't like use the scanner on them.
yeah, okay,
Sybil couldn't scan him.
I do remember that. That was pretty funny. Um, but I mean, things about that. That was pretty funny. I do remember that scene.
What do you think about Sybil in general? I don't really think that stuff's that far fetched.
I don't think it's far fetched, but I also think
They
that
have like I'll have to do more research, but I heard they have like social credit scores in China.
they do. I didn't hear about that. I read an article about that. I think it came out like late last year or something. So they're already getting to that point, which it would be interesting to see what aspects of psychopaths would play out in society.
Dude,
Just
I think so many of them.
there are a lot. There are a lot, but I mean, the civil system itself, I think, had too many holes, and it just it wasn't logical enough to me. To me, it still made too many of its decisions based on its emotions.
Yeah, I did think it was like weird how they're having like the criminals. Well, I guess they're asymptomatic people, but they're pretty much all criminals, or like the ones
Yeah,
judging people.
because they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. I'm just like, okay, you have an entire collective of people who don't see what's wrong with what they're doing, and you do not think there's something wrong with that. Like that ending in itself should like raise some red flags, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of lines in the show though that I think are like translate to the real world, like Akane. It might have been in the Psychopaths 2 when she's talking to the chief, like the android chief.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she said she was pretty much saying you gotta let people make their decide. Or actually, no,
let them,
this was in the movie.
there wasn't a
Uh,
movie. She said you got to let them decide their own fate, and basically made them.
you gotta let them choose between like security or freedom. Like you gotta let them choose the balance.
Yeah, so that was pretty good.
I kind of feel
There,
like
there
that in
was
real life with all like the mask stuff.
I said there was one at
I really didn't like the second one at all.
it was it was right when she was trying to track down Kamui. She was basically trying to get her to realize or get somebody to realize that hey, look, in order to scan Kamui, they're gonna have to acknowledge that they're actually an entity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. The second one was I didn't care for that villain. He was like nowhere even close to Makishima's level. Uh, None of the enforcers I thought were cool. The Tougane enforcer, I thought he like was kind of cool until they
He
made him
was
like the son of Sybil. Like I thought that was kind of dumb.
he was kind of
And
creepy and weird.
yeah, and then like so you didn't have Kagari. Like Kagari was a dope enforcer. You didn't have the old man. The old man, Ginoza's dad. Like he was
Yeah,
cool.
that was tough.
Kogame was like not in it. Just like every enforcer that was cool in the first season was not in the
But
second.
you had Ginoza in order to carry the enforcer title. I thought he was pretty good. I mean, I
I,
had
th-
no
I thought I
complaints.
thought he was cool in the movie, and his very limited screen time, and he's got a few scenes in Psychopaths 3.
Mhm.
He's pretty cool in that one, which we won't talk about Psychopaths 3 too much since Chris hasn't finished it, but
Hey,
it's pretty much centered around different main characters, and Akane is not even really in it. So
that's tough because Akane is actually my favorite character in the show.
they reference her, and she's like in a jail cell.
Because she got arrested for some reason.
Yeah, and they still the way season 3 ends it still doesn't really clear that up. So I definitely think there's going to be a fourth season. They like the way season 1 ended, like the show could have just ended there, and then the way season 2 ended, the show could have also just ended there. But the way they ended season 3, it's like there has to be another one. They pretty much like killed off some characters and then foreshadowed how some new characters are gonna like rise up, be powerful in new roles. So they pretty much showed that it's gonna continue.
And see, but that's the thing though. I do feel that like because they killed off all the characters in season one, that like actually made the show good. The people they had to replace those people were not nearly as good and they're not nearly as memorable. So now you have like some of them in season three, you have some of them in the movie, and no one's like consistent, like, all right, this is who that we're now like focusing on the show to be like a good character that can actually carry the show.
I definitely agree with that for season 2. I don't think they introduced any characters that I enjoyed. Like all the my favorite character in season 2 is obviously Akane. So they didn't really like introduce anyone cool. The detectives they introduced in season 3, I actually do think they're cool. One of them reminded me of the main character from Nobunaga Concerto.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
He was kind of like goofy.
yeah. So he's actually pretty cool. And then the other inspector they introduced, he's like this badass like Russian immigrant to Japan. And he's like got some good combat skills, kind of like Kogami did. And then Kogami and Ginoza are still in it a little bit. So
Yeah, well, it's very interesting because like while Psychopaths does like touch on those themes that you can actually apply to real life, they actually spend very little time of Akane actually trying to, I guess, overturn the system. Like most of the time, she's still doing its bidding, but
yeah, she kind
she,
of fell in line.
yeah, she kind of fell in line, and she's like, "Oh yeah, well, I know all about the Sibyl System. I know that I have some sort of power over it, doing kind of like what I want inside the law, but it's like she's not even really looking for a solution. She's just kind of like letting things happen."
Yeah, because I don't really know what she would do other than expose it.
Well, they admitted that they let her stay alive because they knew that she wouldn't expose Sybil because she knew at that point it was still good for the society. Otherwise, it would fail.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess they had a logical reason to like let her know the secret, but I still feel like she's like not really doing anything with that information like at all.
I mean, she talks back to him a little bit. That's
Yeah,
about it.
I mean, it's a little banter going back and forth.
And in the movie, I thought the movie was actually very good. Um, after the second season, I think was pretty disappointing. I thought the movie like came back strong. I thought it was cool how they were kind of like exporting the Sibyl system to other countries.
I thought it was interesting. What I didn't really like though is like they had that dude, the black dude, they had him like a copycat Makishima, and I was like,
You thought he was a copycat of Makishima? Dude, he was like Jax from Mortal Kombat.
no, I'm talking about like in a sense when he was talking, he was giving his speeches, he was trying to be like awe inspiring or like he was trying to
Like
be,
philosophical, like
yeah,
he was.
but to me it didn't
Dude,
have
he
the same
randomly blew up. I thought that was like the most random thing.
effect. I mean, he was a mercenary. He was willing to die for his life. You had it known that he was willing to go down.
Yeah, but like he was like fighting and that was badass how Kogami just like ripped his arm off.
That was.
His like bionic arm, he like
I
put him
don't
in.
think he should have won that fight personally, because he was already injured before him. But I rest my case.
It was like 2-on-1 though.
Yeah, I mean it was 2-on-1, but it shouldn't have even got to that point. I thought that
Ginoza showed up.
yeah, but I thought that before Ginoza showed up, that Kogame should have lost the fight.
Well, the guy like saved him at one. He was about to get crushed by that.
Yeah, he was like
That
get crushed by the door. I definitely would have like sat there and watched him get crushed by the door.
yeah. It was like a Indiana Jones type thing, like where that
He,
that
he,
that wall's coming down and then he like grabs his hat. It
well,
was like
he
one of those.
saved him to give him a beatdown, and yet he gave him a beatdown. But he also that fight should not have been as close as it was based on what Kogame had to do before he faced him.
Yeah, it would be like if someone was like hanging off a cliff and you just like pull them up so you can like punch them in the face.
And see, it almost worked out, but then it didn't.
Yeah, I thought he was. I thought that mercenary was cool though, and I also thought the long-haired guy was cool.
The mercenaries weren't that bad. I feel like they should have focused on them more. I mean, it was really just him, and the rest of them just appeared to be his lackeys.
Yeah, they had some skills. They definitely like went in there and mopped up all of Kogame's like squad that he was chilling with.
Okay, yeah, but those dudes had like no training. They're probably not even taking his training lessons seriously. Like these people are half-assed. You knew that was going to happen.
I thought it was pretty funny also when they're trying to get Akane out of there after the mercenaries come, and uh, Kogami and that black guy are on that motorcycle. It was like a good guy that was black that was with Kogami, and they're on this motorcycle, and then the guy jumps off. The
Oh,
guy jumps off the motorcycle, and Kogami's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I can't leave a friend behind like that. And then he gets lit up.
yeah, I was
he like
like, well,
immediately dies.
I was like, he should have definitely left that friend behind. Like it was not worth it.
I knew you would say that too as soon as I brought that up. I knew Chris was gonna be like that. You got to leave your friend behind.
I mean, he should evaluate the situation. Like he obviously did not evaluate it that well. If as soon as he was done, his life was over. It was a setup.
So if I was in that situation, you wouldn't jump off the motorcycle for him.
I mean, I would definitely like. I'd be like, "Hey Matt, any last words?"
As you're driving away.
I'd be like, "I'll make a loop around. I would
Like
have waited
I'll come back for you.
because I mean, that was a straight up war. They have like they said there was no rules, no laws outside of that capital.
I just thought I thought it was like a very badass line, and then he just immediately died.
It I mean definitely surprised me when I first saw that.
He's
I wouldn't have seen it
Kogami is like, what are you doing? He's like, dude, I can't leave friends behind like that.
He was, I mean, he was willing to die for the friendship. I can't point him for that.
If he said that and then like picked off like 5 guys, that would have been like, I'll be like, oh, dude, that guy's bad.
No, no. It doesn't matter if you pick up 5 guys or not. It's just what you want is that value, that friendship. You should be happy that he was going to put that on the line.
No, I did think it was cool. I just wish he didn't get lit up immediately.
Well, look, that was there to show you that sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But it's what your intent is what it matters. His intent was to save his friend. This is not what the outcome was.
Yeah, I think that's a good message.
Exactly. Oh, wait. Speaking of which underling from Makishima was your favorite?
I can only think of one, so I guess he would have to be my favorite. Is the guy? He almost looked like he had like cyborg eyes.
Oh yeah. That was like his right hand man.
The tech dude, because he had a pretty good cool conversation with Kagari.
He did. That was actually pretty nice. Kagari. Yeah, my favorite was probably
Which I had a new appreciation for him the second time I watched it.
I did too.
The first time I watched it, I was all about Kogame and Makishima. Those were my 2 favorite characters. That's why I had like no interest in Psychopath season 2 because I was like, neither of these guys are in it. But then the second time I watched the first season, I think Akane shined for me. I kind of was downplaying how cool she was the first time I watched it, and then I thought Kagari was cool. Who is the other underling though?
I mean, there was a girl that had the painting.
Oh yeah. That like she was making people like plastic or whatever. She was like
Yeah.
displaying her art.
Then there was the guy that
The hunting dogs, yeah.
killed the people and would take their thing in the virtual world. What's that little puppet they would use?
Oh yeah. The avatars.
Yeah, the avatars. So
Nah,
there was
nah,
that
I
guy.
didn't like that guy. And I thought that part was kind of random because after that guy, that part confused me the first time I watched it. I guess watching it the second time, you see that Makishima had a play in that, so that's kind of how they got uh, back on the trace of Makishima. But I
Mhm.
thought that part was kind of random because as soon as that guy died, they immediately like just went to another case. Like that case was solved as soon as that guy died.
I mean, he was a criminal, and he died.
Yeah,
And
but it's
then,
like with the case after that with the girl, they like found out that Makishima was like the teacher at that school. So then they like started to like track down Makishima. But I guess when that guy just died, like all they didn't go back to the avatar part at all. Like obviously no one's controlling those avatars anymore. Do like people notice that no one's controlling those avatars because there were like big fan groups of them,
well, to be fair though,
and in their commie fields, like people would show up and
that's true. But to be fair though, I feel like during that one, they kind of thought he was still like working alone, or it wasn't clear who was pulling the strings behind him. So it was kind of like, okay, this dude could have been a rogue dude. Whereas like when they ran into the girl, they said, oh yeah, like this is the motherfucker that has been doing all this shit. We found him. So
yeah.
there was more proof by the time that point came along.
Yeah, it's just the first time I watched it, I didn't see the connection, but then the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, Makishima was involved in that case as well.
Yeah, I was. I think the part I was confused about was why he necessarily needed the first guy, those avatars. But rewatching the second time, I guess it
I
was
think
still
he just got thrills off of like challenging Sybil and creating chaos. So
I mean, he was definitely there to create some chaos, but he was looking for answers as well. He wasn't just blindly doing this stuff.
yeah, I
And
thought it was just
you saw how smart he was. I forgot how long they said he was a teacher there, but it was for a few years. And I'm like, nobody.
he's dedicated to his character, his alias.
This dude's out here teaching classes. I'm just like, yo. I mean, sometimes it's just the way the cookie crumbles. He was able to fool everybody.
I did like the cyborg underling or the android.
He was all
Because
right.
well, I thought he had a cool line because he was talking to that reporter and she was like, yeah, people are hesitant to like go full cyborg like you are, and he's like, well, look around, like people are just attached to their phones, and
Yeah.
the he was pretty much just saying like you guys are already pretty much like slaves to technology, like I just like made myself fully
Nice.
integrated with it. You guys are pretty much already fully integrated with it, you just don't realize it.
And it makes you think too, because
Yeah.
that has been a current point of discussion in current times.
Oh yeah, dude, I think there's so many.
The other one that was random was that case they had where the dude was hacking the little robots and he was killing people to like make his hue clearer because he was getting bullied in the jail.
Yeah. That was unrelated, right?
That was
But
unrelated. Yeah, that was like
I
a
think that
random.
was more so just showing like Akane's first days on the job. It's just like something that happened because that was one of the first episodes, so that was before they even really talked. That was before the Avatar thing, even I believe.
Yeah, that was really early.
Yeah, because obviously the first episode it was just showing an ordinary case, like that guy was raping that girl.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
Yeah, well, I mean that was pretty good. Uh, action-packed episode to draw you into the first one. They kind of let you know on the first episode, like, are you going to be cool with the show or not?
That is true. Which I do like how at the end of season one, when they had like brought it full circle, and she basically had the same lines that Ginoza said to her.
Yeah, because they introduced that new inspector at the end of Shimotsuki.
Mm-hmm.
They introduced her at the end of the first season. I almost feel like you could go from the first season to the movie. Like I was not a fan of Psychopaths 2. I think you could almost cut it out.
I mean, come on now, Psychopaths too. I thought
I
Kamui
did like
had it.
that one guy was in it. Like Kogame's mentor,
Oh, I'll have to say, like, I had a,
Saiga, Jouji Saiga.
yeah, Saiga. I would definitely say he's probably one of my top five favorite characters in the show.
He got a lot of screen time in the second season,
Yeah.
so it was cool to see him. They also introduced that red-haired enforcer. He
Look.
was he was like a computer dude, kind of like a Shion.
Oh yeah, Hinakawa. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I do remember him. He was all right.
I was no, I mean, I didn't think he was that cool, but he is a main character in Psychopaths 3,
Interesting.
and he's like the only one from Unit 1 that is still like a main character because Ginoza and Kogame, they're
Hmm.
actually like part of this like foreign like detective team. Like they handle all the foreign cases. So I guess after like the movie where they like were exporting Sibyl, they went to another country and were like doing stuff over there. I guess they established like a foreign like detective team. So
Hey, Kogami came back to the side.
Kogami and Ginoza are doing that. Akane's locked up. So there's really like no one from Unit 1 that's like still like around because the other guys died.
Hmm.
So that red haired guy's like that's like the only thing you really need to know from season two, I think. I think you could easily just go from season one to the movie to Psychopaths 3.
Nah, because season two showed an important step for Sibyl's evolution.
I kind of thought I mean, you get more screen time with Shimotsky, so maybe you'd want to see her, but
I
I
don't
mean,
really like her.
she's in she's kind of cool in the Psychopaths 3. I don't know if it's because I watched that one in sub and I watched the other ones in dub. I really did not like her in the dub in season
I
two.
didn't either. I'll be watching the dub as well.
I
I did
thought
not
she
like
was
her.
like just back talking to Kane all the time, really annoying.
Exactly. I was like, damn, what she do to you?
She thought she knew what was up, and she didn't even know what Sybil was at that point. I was like, dude, Akane knows way more than you. Like
And
you don't
then,
even.
but then
And Akane is like not even snapping back at her.
she's going
She's
about
like,
her merry
I'm gonna
way.
write you up in my report. And Akane is like, okay, yeah, like fill out your
I'll
report.
sign off on it.
Yeah, she like did not give a fuck about her being passive, or she wasn't even being passive. She was like straight up
Just
just
being aggressive.
interface being aggressive.
And look, Twitter fingers. But no, even when she found out the secret to Sybil, she was terrified.
I mean, I would be too. I actually I don't know because I would just be more terrified of the system in general. I would be like Saiga. I'd be like trying to chill on my own, drinking coffee.
Yeah, he just trying to make sure he doesn't mysteriously, get done in like the other dude did.
I
With
think he's just
Kamui.
trying to be off the grid. He's like, I don't want to deal with any of this. I wouldn't want to live in that society.
I mean, yeah, I would not want to either. I would not.
They're just like, oh,
I mean,
your hue's clouded now, and then I'm like, damn, and then they're like, oh, your hue's getting worse now that I told you that it's clouded. You're getting all worked up.
no,
I'd
no,
be
hold
like, oh,
on.
I gotta enforce you now. It's all the way to the top.
But you can become an enforcer, Matt. I would like, come on now.
Yeah, but the Kogami didn't seem like he liked that.
I mean,
He did because like
see,
Kogami's a survivalist. He's like, I gotta be an enforcer to survive, and then he like in the movie he went off and joined those gorillas because he's just always surviving.
yeah, I mean, see, I feel like
Or he's an opportunist. I guess he came back in Psychopaths 3, became a foreign detective. He's like he's taking his opportunities to stay alive.
I'll see how he develops in season three. But to me, he gives
I
me,
liked it. I thought it was way better than season two.
but to me, Kogami kind of gives me like the Sasuke vibes, where his character development is like so one dimensional. Uh, it's like, I mean, in the first season they compare
I
some of
like
his.
him way more than Sasuke. Like if I was making like an anime character list, like regardless of
Oh,
show, just throwing them all on a list, I would definitely have Kogami ahead of Sasuke.
oh yeah, yeah, he's definitely way ahead of Sasuke. But I'm just saying, it's like from season one to like where he is now. as Kogame really changed. He's still a hunting dog. He still has to like listen to his impulse. It's like, I mean, I guess he was able to solve the case, but what has actually changed with Kogame between now up until based from the previous season before he made Makishima? And to me, there hasn't been that much of a change.
I just like how he is independent and confident, and he does his own thing. He's
Yeah, yeah,
not
no,
just he's not falling in line like Akane and Shimotsuki are doing, where they just do it.
and look, Shimosuke, she got terrified in falling in line. I was really hoping it would all was going to crash and burn. In season two, when they was when that dude was killing everybody in the building, and she was standing outside not doing anything.
Dude, that scene was awesome. That was that I honestly was not feeling like I was considering I was gonna finish it out just because it wasn't that long, but I was kind of wanting to drop it until that was on episode 4, I believe.
Yeah, I was to me,
All the inspectors just started blowing up.
I would say like the first couple episodes to me were good. The middle was like kind of hard to get through, and then the last few episodes was good. Um, they were decent. I didn't like how first of all, I can understand if you cannot give this dude like a psychopath scan or whatever. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have a psychopath.
I thought his whole backstory was bad.
Okay, there should have been less people on the plane. If the plane was like a class full of like 20 people, that's cool. 180 people on a plane, all children. Who funds that kind of trip? And like, and then I understand. Okay, he was pieced together, but by different body parts.
That was the part.
Why did they have to piece together multiple brains? That doesn't make any sense.
That was the part I didn't like. I like they said Makishima, you couldn't scan him because he was criminally asymptomatic. He was like unique, and they're saying there's people like that all throughout society, and they eventually Sybil tries to incorporate them. I was like, cool, like that. I can I can follow that, but then when they're saying, oh hey, you can't scan this guy because he was in this accident and we just fused all these body parts together, I was like,
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, okay, we like in season one, you saw what happened when that guy was taking control of those robots. Um, well, he was trying to clear his hue, but they were able to point out the object and it said destroy decomposer. So they were able to get rid of an object that was deemed a threat. I understand that maybe you can't scan him as a person. He is still body parts put together. He's still an object, and the Sybil scanner can scan objects. So it should have been able to scan him as an object, even if he wasn't a human. Like
yeah.
you can't tell me that they're like, hey, look, yeah, this guy doesn't exist, and the Sybil scanner's like, yeah, nothing's there at all. Like we don't see anything. And
Yeah,
I'm
because they
like,
were
okay.
enforcing, like they were using the decomposer on robots, so they can enforce stuff that aren't human.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I'm pretty sure you can like scan a car or like you can scan anything, and it tells you it's an object.
Yeah,
Um, but like the fact that it wasn't even the fact they were saying that absolutely nothing was there did not make any sense because even people's body parts put together is still like something solid. Your scanner should be able to tell you that like it's a clump of body parts put together.
I just didn't like it, and the conclusion of the show was of that season was, oh, now Sybil can
Bro,
people can collectively have a bad hue when they individually don't. Like if they're all coming together and like I don't know, they were saying they could like scan a collective.
they can scan a collective now.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of that was like the big revelation of the show. Like, oh, like now Sybil can do this, and I was like, I thought that was kind of dumb.
but I mean, also it apparently it did kill off the brain that like made his psychopath high. So the psychopath went back to zero, and apparently doesn't have any evil plans outside of that, or shouldn't have, um, except when it sent stuff overseas to take over.
I thought it was funny how they just like got they were talking to Akane. Akane's like, yeah, now that you can scan collectives, like you can see that parts of Sybil are flawed, and then they're like, oh, okay, we'll just get rid of the parts that are flawed, and they just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like it did it got its evolution, went forward. We're all good now.
But like, what if you got incorporated into Sybil, and then they're like, actually, we don't need you now, and then they just like you just decompose.
That's tough. You should have
They
had a
like
lower
they like
draft
poison the
ability.
brains, like their little jars like turn black.
Yeah, they turned black, got rid of them so quickly.
Yeah, they just disintegrated in there. They're like, is it better now? Like, are we cool now?
I mean, but hey, I guess that had to be done. I mean, Kamui got what he wanted. He got his psychopath check. Oh wait, back up. I actually did not appreciate. And then this is where to me that Tougane character he like went way down the toilet when he was trying to like paint Akane black. So he like kidnapped her grandmother and beat her. I was like, bro,
Yeah,
come on now, bro.
I didn't like any of that either.
I was like, and then he was like, oh, you should have seen her face when she was like squirming as I was like beating her up. And I was like, bro, come on. He was taking it too far.
I'm trying to remember who killed him.
It was Togani, the guy that was trying to who killed him.
Yeah,
It was Kamui. So I
well,
think
good
they
because I didn't like that guy. I thought he was cool up until like that point where he was killing Akane's grandma, and then he's also just the son of Sybil. Like they made like Chief Kase, the android lady. They like made the chief his mom.
yeah, which
Like the mom like took over because I guess like the brains can like sub in and out.
yeah, which didn't make any sense because I feel like what she wanted or what she was trying to do was different than what the collective Sybil was trying to do. And it's
Yeah,
like some of the other brains should have been like, hey, look, this is not what the majority of us want to
yeah,
do.
she had like her
Yeah,
own personal agenda, and that was like what season two was about was
her own
her
perspective.
and then Togane, and I'm like,
Yeah, his character to me like went quickly downhill.
I agree 100% with what you're saying about how it seemed like they weren't the chief wasn't acting as like a collective; it was almost just acting as that mother.
Yeah, and I don't really understand what his gripe with like after I guess after she died, he like painted himself black, but it was like I didn't really understand what he was trying to do by doing her bidding, and I was like, that's cool, but you're
The
trying to do kind of
enforcer,
yeah. He was like he was purposefully trying to color inspectors black in order to like make his mom happy, but I'm like.
that was
Nothing,
his mom was like his only friend, so
yeah, it was so bad. It was like, dude, that to me had no correlation with what she wanted in order to be happy. He just like decided that was his goal and it was gonna make her happy, and he just decided to do it.
yeah, I just didn't like it. I didn't even think Ginoza was that cool in season two. I thought he was cool in the movie.
I mean, he was decent in season two. They tried to ease him back in, after he fell from grace in season one. They said, okay, give you a little taste of Ginoza, and then he steps up into uh the main plate in the last few minutes of the movie. It was his time to shine.
He's pretty cool in the third one in his limited screen time.
See, to me though, I thought they were foreshadowing him becoming an enforcer the entire season one. Like as soon as you found out his dad was an enforcer, it was like we're setting Ginos up to be an enforcer by the end of the season.
Yeah, and he was doing all the therapy, also like doing everything he could to prevent it. But
Exactly. See, I was like, it was too easy. Hard to say. It was always written that he was going to be an enforcer.
I don't know if there's much to say about this character, but I did think that Shion, I think that's her name, the goddess of information.
Oh yeah, she was pretty cool. I think they should have gave her a bigger role.
She's consistently in every show.
Mm.
She's big in the third one.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, and she was. I mean, she's big in the second one. She was in the first one,
It,
but
it was
she's
always
always just in that lab, or she's hooking up with Yayoi.
Yeah, I thought it was always. I don't think it was weird, but they would
They
always have
never
like
address it again. That was only in the first show, I think. It might have been in the second one. I can't remember
with what?
them like being lesbians.
Oh yeah, it happened in the second season as well. Like that's what I'm saying. It happened like at least two or three times where it like cuts to them hooking up, and then they're talking about a situation that's going on.
Yeah,
But it always seems to be like a significant conversation. I would say.
they don't really expand on their relationship. Like they're obviously hooking up, but like it doesn't really go any much deeper than that.
That's true. And then she talked to Kogame. She was like, "Oh, Kogame, we should have hooked up." And he's
Yeah,
like, "We weren't each other's type."
yeah.
I'm pretty
I,
sure
I
she did the same thing with Ginoza, or they had a drink together.
yeah, I thought she was a cool character though. But she they don't really ever show her outside of that lab. And I don't know, was she an enforcer? I have no idea.
No, but she was late in criminal.
Well, yeah,
So,
that's what I meant. So yeah, she wasn't like a regular citizen.
mm. Yeah, I wish they would have expanded more on the backgrounds of like criminals. Like I would have loved to have seen Kagari's backstory, her backstory, how the father essentially gave a rundown how he became a detective. Or
They showed how
he,
Yayoi got there, but she was the least interesting enforcer to me from.
yeah, I also feel like she does not get a lot of screen time, or I don't know. They really don't go in depth with her or anything.
She's in the third one,
Mm.
and but I think the new enforcers they introduced in the third one are cooler than she is. I don't know how far you've gotten in the third one, but I think those enforcers are pretty cool.
I mean, Yayoi just needs her time to shine. You'll see. She may come back and surprise you.
Like when I watched the Psychopath season one twice before I watched the second season because I remember a couple years ago I was watching Psychopath season one and then I watched the first episode of
Mm-hmm.
season two and I'm like no Makishima, no Kogame, like and then I just immediately turned it off. I thought I was gonna do the same with Psychopath three. I was just checking it out and I was watching like the intro theme song, like they're showing all these new I was like, I don't know any of these characters. Like, I don't know how this is gonna be. Like, it seems Akane is not getting much screen time, but I was actually pleasantly surprised. I thought it was really good.
Actually, what is actually kind of interesting, what I noticed when I was rewatching it was Kane wasn't. I guess she was kind of like the main character, but she was actually surprisingly not in a lot of scenes. Like they did a good job of giving like equal screen time to like all the
That's
other
sweet.
characters. hmm Where by the time we got to the movie, I mean, there were a lot of scenes without Akane around
Yeah.
when they were discussing what they were doing. So I'm not surprised in season three that they're able to kind of remove her as a character, but like still keep up what the show has been doing.
The Dominator's just crazy weapon in general. I feel like it's kind of slow. I think though.
It is kind of slow with his judgment. I would definitely say that.
Well, just even when it activates, like if like someone's coming up to you with a pistol, and then you got a
Yeah,
Dominator.
I'm very surprised there isn't more like gun versus dominator warfare because I definitely feel like if you're like a criminal and you're ready to kill somebody and you have a pistol, you're not going to be wait to be judged. You're just going to pop off on them.
I mean, and Akane didn't even know how to use a gun. Her friend got slaughtered right in front of her.
To be fair, she probably knows how to use a gun, just not a shotgun. So like, she
Dude,
did have
she
it.
she could have
She had,
saved her friend. That was. I like Akane now, but the first time I watched it, that was the reason that I didn't have her up there with Makishima and Kogami.
it was a traumatizing moment. I had to cut her some slack, but when I was watching that, I was like, yeah, I mean, he gave you ample opportunity.
She was like begging him not to do anything. I was like, you know, this guy is like the deadliest guy out there right now. He's the one guy you don't want to come across, and you're just gonna not save your friend.
Exactly. Wait, at this point, did she know about why Kogami was hunting down Makishima, or is this after?
I want to say after, because I thought she ended up in the hospital, and then like when she wakes up, she's like pretty much telling Kogami like we gotta both get this guy for our friends.
That is true. So that's what's even crazy is yes, she knew what happened to Kogami's um old partner. Like he just was not going to like let her walk away
I mean,
freely.
she at least knew about the specimen case, like how he's like doing all this crazy stuff.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, she dropped the ball on that one, but she was put in a tough situation. You know, you've been bred to use this Dominator. That's all you've ever seen. You've never even seen a real weapon. And all of a sudden, you get it, and it's like a two pump shotgun. One of the hardest ones.
They did trick Sybil pretty easily in the movie. Like all those soldiers had really high.
Crime coefficients.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, apparently that was part of the plan the entire time. Um, I definitely didn't. For some reason, I didn't catch that during the first time I watched it. But when I was rewatching it, I was like, "Oh, Sybil literally planned the entire movie. Pretty good."
yeah. I only saw it the one time, so I didn't catch that till the end. But
Yeah, yeah, so,
and then they like subbed out the politician. They like put an android in there.
that was pretty funny. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was actually hoping that like they end up taking over to see what it was gonna look like. I was hoping Akane wouldn't say anything. Um, But when they revealed Sybil's plan, it was when Shimosuke, she was telling Akane why she was like so stupid for doing all that stuff. And she said, what did they say? They basically let them fake the psychopaths in order to be able to like nullify the treaty or whatever. But there was a lot of chain of events that happened. And they
They
knew
pretty much
Kogame was up there.
yeah they pretty much did all that just so it would get exported over there.
Yeah.
They like wanted the plan to be
It was
successful.
I mean, to me, that was hella roundabout. I was like, you're supposed to be the Sibyl System, and that seems like the most. I'm glad you're able to pull it off, but that is the most complex ass plan I've ever seen.
I guess it was because they got all those brains of criminals running things, so they kind of
Yes,
they
that's
have
the thing. It was
they have like a flawed sense of justice. I don't even know if it's really justice. It's more so just about exercising control over people.
it really is like it's like I mean they're literally making the choices for them. They didn't see anything wrong with what they did, even though you can
They can
clearly
justify all their actions.
they can justify all their actions. But and see, and that's the thing. Like it kind of she like stops it to a certain extent, but I don't think she's like doing enough. Like I mean, I mean, I guess she made the civil system hold that fair election, but it's like, yo, the damage is already done. They literally already took over the country. Um, what do you think these people are going to choose? They're just going to choose security again.
Yeah, there is a line in the third season where this politician gets elected. Pretty much the politician says like not everyone wants to have their eyes open. Some people just want to be like told what to do.
Yeah, there are some people that are like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I
Like,
don't,
hey, you need those people, make the world go around.
yeah, I just feel like that's how pretty much everyone that's content with Sybil is. They don't got their eyes open. They just want to be told that the world's peaceful.
Yeah, that what was that conversation she had with her friend that Connie had with her friend, and she was saying that Sibyl Systems found her husband, found her like the perfect career, and she was
Yeah,
basically like going like, bro,
she's like I don't got to worry about it.
she was like, I don't got to worry about anything. Sibyl System has done everything for me. And I mean, she was on her knees for Sibyl, and I was like, come on now, you
That's
don't.
how they all are,
That's almost in the mark.
except for the criminals.
Yeah, I mean, they have a reason not to feel that way. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see like, are they eventually going to say, hey, look, the civil system is now has been built on a false sense of judgment this entire time. We need to scrap it, or are they just going to let the civil system keep doing what it's doing and keep evolving until it has like complete and perfect control?
Yeah, because
In which
they're already exporting it.
yeah, they're already exporting it, but I mean, I'm telling you what the next thing is. The next thing is getting rid of the inspectors over enforcers. I mean, if you have machines that can judge everybody and you don't need them, I mean, it's
You gotta watch the third one. There's pretty much this like underground society that's like rivaling Sybil.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like at some point they're gonna have to be like, hey, look, uh, what Sybil isn't doing isn't right because it's following its own sense of justice that isn't really justice at all. So we're gonna have to fight whatever Sybil is doing.
Well, the underground society is like not righteous either. It really reminded me of Darwin's Game. Like they're treating people as like pieces in a game, and they're doing big crime, and they're like betting on outcomes of what will happen in real life, like it's a game.
I mean, Lelouch said it best. What do you do when you come face to face with an evil that you can't vanquish? Do you become a greater evil, or do you stay in righteous? We're just going to see it. we're just gonna have to see which choice is correct. The greater evil, or actually, I don't even know which side would be the greater evil in this case.
I think you should finish watching it. I think you'll like it. It's definitely better than season 2. So if you got through season 2,
I
like
mean, season two wasn't that bad. It had like a few aspects of it that made it.
when I rewatch Psycho Pass, I'm not gonna watch it again. I'm gonna go season 1, movie, season 3,
Season
season
two has
4.
some important development in it. I think that as a part of the show, you have to take it in its entirety.
Yeah, I think you have to watch it once.
And you have to rewatch it like every time you decide to rewatch. You can't just skip a whole season.
I feel like the end of the first season they introduced Shimotsuki, and then I can see Shimotsuki in the movie, and then see her in Psychopaths 3.
She had a major role in Psychopaths too.
She did, but I already know it because I've seen it once. I don't think I need to see it again.
You need to see it again to remember how important it was. It's part of her story, part of her character development. I mean, her finding out the secret behind the Sibyl System, like that's you can't you can't get that scene in any other Psychopath season. You can't get Shimoski first finding out. You can't replicate that feeling. Very important.
So is she one of your favorite characters? Like,
She is not. She's probably the character I think I hate her the most, to be honest.
I like her in the third one because they say she's a chief. They still have a Chief Kase. They still have the Sybil android, but everyone's pretty much reporting. All the inspectors have to report to Shimotsuki for domestic stuff.
See, I honestly want her to fail. Like, I don't like how she tries to cross Akane. I don't like when she's writing those reports. She's like focusing on like something that's insignificant. And I'm like, yo, do you not see what's going on? She's like horrible social awareness with what's going on in the situation. And it's like she tries to bring Akane down like, no matter what. And like half the time it backfires anyways.
She's almost like a completely different character in the. She's not as annoying, for sure.
I mean, I guess everyone needs that necessary character development. I'll give her another chance. I'm just saying, see, first two seasons in the movie, like a 4 out of 10.
Her.
Yeah.
So then, who are your favorite characters?
Definitely would be Akane, Makishima, and Saiga. And then Kogame.
Yeah, I don't even think I got Saiga in my top. I mean, he definitely is. He's like the reason I would rewatch the second one, so I'll give him that. He has a big role in the second one, and he's one of the better characters in that.
He very
well could be the second best character in season 2. Could just be Akane then him. Those are like the two best. But overall, I would have to say, I don't know. I don't know if I can like pick. I might have like Akane, Kogame, and Makishima like tied, and then I like Kagari after that, and I like his dad too. Like they were cool enforcers.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I guess I could. Oh, I'm gonna move Kogami down to number 5 and have Ginoza number 4, and then Kagari number 6.
I don't know how you could have Ginoza ahead of Kogami.
What's wrong with Ginoza?
I just thought he was kind of annoying too in the first one, like thinking he's all superior. He's thinking he's all superior, and then he immediately like goes to Akane's hip in the second one.
He does. Yeah, he comes out like a dog. But I really like his to me his transcendence into becoming an enforcer. Yeah, he had to get humbled. I like when characters get humbled and it's like, all right, now how am I gonna learn from this? Kogami got humbled by like Makishima. He just came back like 2 weeks later and put a bullet in his head. There was no he said let me get back in the weight room.
Yeah, I can see that he probably didn't develop as much as a character, but I just thought he was a cool character the whole time.
He was a cool character. I mean, he's still top 5. He's just
like I didn't think he had to level up at all when he was already like the max level.
I mean, his max level is just now lower than the max levels of the other players in the rest of the seasons. But we'll see what he does later on in the story. I'm assuming that they're going to keep him for season 4 as well.
Yeah, you should finish up season 3, but overall, this is definitely one of my favorite animes. I'm looking forward to some more new releases of it.
Yeah, I would say rewatching it, it actually stayed around the same position I had it.
I probably have it in my top 10 at least. It could be in my top 5.
Oh, I think it's like
Maybe I'm just saying that because
barely.
it's fresh in my mind, but I
I
mean,
think it's barely in my top 20.
nah, I think there's just so many things that they say in it that are like relevant to real life. Like I don't think that dystopian future. I don't, even though this is like a sci-fi show, I really don't think it's that far fetched.
That's true. I mean, to me, the only shows that has like as much symbolism and meaning, besides Kogias, obviously for myself, uh, is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like that's another one I thought had like a lot of themes that apply to real life. Right behind that is Psychopaths.
Well, I just think with like the social credit scores, that's kind of making me think of the crime coefficients. It's kind of like it might be where we're headed.
Yeah, it could be, but you can develop the medicine that makes sure your psychopath is clear.
They got people overdosing on that in the later episodes
If people overdosing on that, they should. I mean,
on the Hue medication. They're trying to keep their Hue low at all costs.
see, I just don't understand why Sybil just didn't change the parameters of what would be considered a clear hue.
Because I don't even know if they care about the people. Like,
They definitely don't. They definitely don't. I think they just care about control.
which that could be like applicable to real life. Like, do these people at the top really have our best interest in mind?
I mean, they
Or
definitely
they
don't.
yeah. So
That is true. That is true. That is true. But I guess with that being said, Psychopath, highly recommend first season, second season, and the movie. I guess Matt can recommend season 3.
yeah, I don't recommend the second one, but you got to see it. I guess you got to see it once. Just
Season 2
I think it's
is
the weakest. I think after you watch the third one, you'll. I think the third one like is as good as the first. It just doesn't have the characters. Probably all my favorite characters are in the first season, but the new characters and the new enforcers they introduced in season 3, I do like. So I still like it better than the second season, even though the second season has Akane.
see second season is still part of the show, so
Of
it,
course,
it
yeah.
could maybe be the weakest link, but it is still a necessary watch,
I just
especially
thought
if
it was
you like Saiga.
yeah. If you like Saiga, he gets way more screen time in the second season, and I do like how it bounced back in my mind with the movie for sure. The movie came out after season 2, so I think it bounced
Yep.
back with the movie, and then it just continued to be good with season 3. So I think that's actually better than if the movie in season 3 were bad, because then it would be like tapering off. I feel like it comes back, and it's I'm excited for season 4.
Hey, that's where we are at.
All right, well we can wrap this one up. I'm not sure if it was the best one ever, but it's another classic Anime Bros episode. All right, peace out.